my name is Christine Reisdorph, and thank you for joining me today for my leadership book review. The book that I have chosen is by Michael D. Watkins and is titled The First 90 Days, Proven Strategies for Getting Up to Speed Faster and Smarter. A little bit about Michael D. Watkins is that he's an former instructor at Harvard Business School, where he taught negotiations and corporate diplomacy. He also is a co-author of a book titled Right from the Start, which was published in 1999, and has held various positions at the vice president and director level in all regions of the world. He obtained his undergraduate degree in electrical engineering before going on to graduate work in law and business. He completed his PhD in decision sciences from Harvard. For those of you that may not know, decision sciences is an application of quantitative and qualitative research to aid in deciding problems towards individuals, society, and organizations. Michael D. Watkins also has a transitional acceleration company called Genesis Advisors. The purpose of this book is that it was to be a leader's Bible. It's also to show how to quickly transition in a leadership role and be successful in it, and also to create momentum and avoid traps. As the book implies, the first 90 days will largely determine a leader's success or failure. The audience it was intended for is anyone who is new to a leadership role, employees that are being promoted into a leadership role, or any leaders making a change to a new company. The strengths of this book is that it gives a play-by-play account on how to be successful within the first 90 days of a new leadership role. It gives 5 focus points on how to do so. The first is that a leader should assess their strengths and weaknesses. You need to understand why you're promoted and build off of that, while also understanding your weaknesses to build from as well. Point number 2 is that you should diagnose your situation. You need to understand the situation that you're walking into and the culture and how to make the right types of change without rushing into it. The third point is to secure an early win with a strategy in hand to make solid improvements that people can see. One such example was that a financial leader who went in to streamline a process and work on a plant's packaging actually helped save time for the company along with cost reduction. Point number 4 is to negotiate with your boss. Now, if you are the boss, you don't need to negotiate, you're already on a win-win. But if you are below a CEO, a CNO, you need to know what their expectations are of you. You need to know what type of management they have, and you need to know what type of resources you will have to get things done. Do you have extra money? Do you have extra people at your disposal? Point 5 is building your team. Early success cannot happen without having a motivated team. You need to assess your current team, and in the book he actually has tools on how to assess team members, but they also need to understand you are assessing them, so they will never have, you won't have bad rapport with them. You also may need to make personnel changes, and you need to know how to do so. And set expectations with your team members to define roles so you can move on together. This book also was very easy to read and can be applied to a variety of settings. Michael Watkins also gives advice on how to avoid downfalls, such as don't only stick with what you know. You need to learn your environment and not just this is the way we've always done things attitude. And you also don't need to come into a new organization with having the answer. You need to understand what they need so you can build upon that. If you go in with any of these downfalls, you can lead to poor decision making, ruin credibility, and lose trust with your new employees. And then good ideas on how to hit the ground running. Instead of, you need a leader to accelerate learning by understanding the culture and politics of the organization. You need to understand their past performance, either good or bad, and you need to know the root causes of the good or bad performance. You also need to question their present vision and their future vision so that you can work together. Some of the shortcomings of this book I found were that it's not strictly applicable to the healthcare industry. Also, it was a lengthy read of about 270 pages with some redundancy in areas of team assessment and pitfalls. And this book may also be too overbearing for smaller organizations. It seemed as if he's trying to come across to large corporate organizations versus maybe a smaller organization of maybe 20 to 30 people. Maybe harder to adapt to this. Did the author achieve objectives? With more than 1 million copies sold of this book, and as it was named one of the best 100 business books, on top of being an international bestseller, I feel that he has achieved his objectives in that he wants to give anyone in a leadership role the chance to be successful in that role. He has identified potential downfalls. He has given tools in the book on how to do that, and has also and how to avoid them. And this book, just like he says, it should be in every leader's library. It should be their Bible because there is a lot of go-to information in it. Recommendation. Yes, this book is a good read. It was a lengthy read, but a good read. And even though it does not apply to my current situation, I feel it will someday. And I feel any leader going into healthcare, any organization itself, would be able to benefit from this book. And I hope it helps me in my future career as a nurse leader, as I plan to reference back to this many times. I thank you for listening to my leadership book review, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.